In astrology, this is the language that it's all built around, and the signs, not the signs so much, well, the signs as well. If you look at the signs, you sometimes see these things, but it's mostly the planets. You're talking about the circle, the crescent, and the cross. And to get a good sense of what that's about, you know, it's really important that you, I want to go to this again. I'm going to start here. Play slideshow. Now, the other day I showed you this a little bit, and I was talking to you about, okay, Mars and Saturn aspects of affliction, Moon to Mars in this case. You know, when we talk about Moon, Mars, just think about what is Mars. It jumps before, it leaps before it looks. It's fast. It's rushing. It's hurrying, and it's also, when we say emotionally impulsive. If you have somebody with a Mars Moon affliction, you know right away that they're emotionally impulsive. You know that the Mars Sun is also often that same spirit. You're dealing with the Moon, which is emotional, and you're talking about Mars, which is impulsive. Feelings are hurt easy. Why? The Moon is your feelings, your emotional state. Mars is your hurt. It's easy to get hurt. Okay, subconscious conflicts. Why is it conflicts? Because it's squaring or opposing. That's why the aspects, you're going to learn those real well. You need to understand the opposition squares, the semi-squares, and the quincunx, which you have in your chart between Saturn and your Moon. Okay? So, compulsive, deep-seated anger, this is one of those aspects that can do that. Mars, Moon to Mars is often anger towards the mother. And it's often repressed because, well, Mars is very much overt. Mars says, I don't like you, I'm going to knock you down. Saturn won't do that. Saturn's subtle. It's called the subtlest of all the beasts. That's Satan, the devil. He's called the subtlest of all the beasts. Why is it subtle? Because if you look at the symbol, it's the repression, the subconscious is underneath the cross. In other words, the cross, the physical world, dominates the subconscious. That's the symbol of possession, which is the subconscious mind. When the subconscious is possessed, okay, you've got Rosemary's Baby. You've got somebody that can do supernatural feats of strength. You've got something that can manifest in all sorts of manifest evil ways, okay? If I hypnotize somebody, I can have them stretched out on 2 chairs and sit on their body, and they won't break. But they couldn't do that in a conscious state. So what you're seeing is the power of the subconscious mind. When it becomes corrupted, it can also do supernatural things. It can do super powerful things that we call possession. And that's Satan, the devil, the serpent, okay? Saturn is subtlest of all the beasts. So Saturn won't confront somebody. Remember I told you that it can be two-faced? Saturn will say something lovely to you, talk about you in the most positive way, turn around and talk to your friends and say, let me just tell you about Liz. Man, I got the scoop on her. She does this, she does that. You see what I mean? That's the backstabbing side of Saturn, and it's very subtle. And it undermines and causes a lot of problem because it's the spirit of accusation. Satan, the devil, the accuser of our brethren. That's the message of Saturn. Now, is Saturn always bad? No. But Saturn afflicted can be these things. Okay? In this case, where I've shown you in this particular configuration, I've got Mars and Moon and Saturn affliction by opposition. But it doesn't necessarily mean this is just also affliction. The difference between Moon-Mars affliction and Moon-Saturn affliction, okay, Moon-Saturn stress aspects are trying to teach something, okay? You have that aspect, right? Okay, it's trying to teach coordination between feelings and thoughts, teaching maturity of mind, responsible thinking, integration between mind and thinking, seeking mastery over mind and emotions. Because Saturn is a teacher. And so is Mars. All these planets are trying to teach us something. When I have Mercury afflicting my Mars when I was born, I still talk fast. You know that. Watch me. I always do. My wife often says to me, "Slow down. Don't talk so fast. People can't get it. It's too much. You're too fast." When I was a child, I talked very fast and I stuttered because of that. And I stuttered very bad. I had a Mars, how would you say, my speech was marred by Mars, you see, which is running too fast. My mind's running too fast. So a lot of my life and my learning was affected by a lot of abuse as a child too, Mars, which caused problems in my intellectual development, I believe. I had a hard time with school, had a hard time with learning. I had a terrible time with math and things like math, okay? Just wasn't good at it. My dad could never he'd sit me down and spend hours and try to make me learn it, and it was just hard for me. I wasn't the best student. But the point I'm getting at is all these are trying to teach something. If you look at Moon Mars' aspect, it's attempting to teach emotional impulse development. Feelings and drives seek harmony. Feeling assertive, aggressive feelings that's subconsciously penetrating, emotionally powerful, psychic drives. It gives all that, but it also is developing those things and these qualities in the pain of that affliction. So there's a dual side to all these energies. It's not like they're all bad, okay? If you look at teaching right use of drives and teaching depth of mind and speech, we're talking about Mercury now and Saturn, okay? This is Mars to Saturn. Teaching right use of drives and energies, responsibility for one's actions, discipline, control of anger and passions. That's Saturn to Mars. It's trying to teach that. So, okay.